Another day, another recap. Bryce Harper is finally taking BP, and I'm not gonna lie, he looks basically healthy. Now, we know that he wants to play right field, so he's gonna wait until that UCL is completely recovered. But an update on Bryce Harper. The Mets are finally calling up one of the top prospects in baseball. He debuted last year, but he didn't get a lot of playing time. Francisco Alvarez, he will be playing today. The Giants smacked another 5 home runs in a single game. And then make sure you guys watch all the way until the end, because we're gonna talk about a few surprises from week 1. Now, remember everyone, if you're going to any baseball games or concerts, use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save yourself 20 bucks off. And also, we are officially less than 8,000 subscribers away from 450K. Let's see if we can get there. Now, I want to show Bryce Harper taking some BP cuts one more time, because I feel like we've all been there on the third swing if you wait for it. So Bryce Harper, I don't know if he kind of leaked or he rolled over, but he told himself to hit it up the middle. We've all been there before in batting practice, but the Phillies, they desperately need Bryce Harper back in that lineup, and he looks pretty healthy, or at least healthy enough to hit. But we know Bryce, he wants to get back in right field. We talked about the Mets and Francisco Alvarez, but now we have to talk about that god-awful patch. And I hate the fact that it is a great cause. I think it is a Presbyterian hospital or something like that. I am not against that sponsorship. I'm against the patch itself. First of all, it's not even Mets colors. Second of all, it's too big. That patch right there, along with the ADT patch on the Marlins uniform, to me, I have no problem with advertising. Get your dollars, but they're too big. They are an eyesore. They look terrible in my opinion. You guys remember Andruw Jones, the former center fielder for the Braves, one of the best defensive, if not the best defensive outfielder we've ever seen? That's his son right there, Andruw Jones. So kind of like father, like son, Andruw Jones is going to be a monster for the Diamondbacks. In Arizona, they are building up a super prospect system. They're going to be so good in the next few years. It is officially time to recap the games from yesterday, the Braves and the Padres. What a game. So many game of the year candidates, and it's only been, what, a week of baseball? Hey, Fuzzy, I got a question for you. What's that, random stranger? Respect Orlando Arcia? Okay, I guess I'm going to have to, because over his last 74 games, he has 11 home runs and an almost 115 OPS plus. That is really good. I still wish it was Vaughn Grissom, because I feel like his ceiling is higher, but Arcia, he is getting the job done. There's Matt Carpenter. He's doing his job. A 3-run home run off of Quadzilla, as they call him, Spencer Strider. Carpenter has 16 home runs and a 211 OPS plus over his last 53 games. We love a comeback story. Now, staying with the comebacks, the Braves, they're going to have to try and mount a comeback against San Diego, who entered the Crone Zone, and the Padres, they went up 6-4 in the 8th inning. Matt Olson, he singled in Arcia to bring it within 1, and d'Arnaud, he tied it up right after. d'Arnaud and Ronald Acuna Jr. both have 11 hits, which leads the National League. So the Braves, they are raking and firing on all cylinders, no matter who it is. We haven't really talked about Sean Murphy, though, so as the year goes on, I think he'll get better and better. Now, we skip to the 9th inning, where Arcia, he can win it by putting the ball in play. That he does, and Grisham, he actually has a pretty strong arm, but it was a little off base, and that is a walk-off for the Atlanta Braves, who are now 6-1 on the season. The Dodgers and the Diamondbacks faced off in the Diamondbacks home opener, and before the game, Corbin Carroll was dropped off by his parents. Kind of a cool, funny moment if you're asking me. The Dodgers, they scraped their way to an early lead. They kept adding to it. The score is 3-0 after JD Martinez had an RBI double. As you can see, though, the Diamondbacks just ain't scoring, and that's because Dustin May was feeling himself yesterday yet again. Back-to-back starts, he has been really good. More on him in just a second, because now we have to talk about James Outman, who continues to prove that he is, in fact, him. He is tied for second in F4 already in all of Major League Baseball. Dustin May, he threw 6 very efficient frames, allowing just 1 earned run. He has a very nice .69 ERA in his first 2 starts. Freddie, he lifted off, and if we go back to 2016, since that point, he's hitting .310 with the 150 OPS plus. He is going to walk into the Hall of Fame. As Evan Phillips, he came in the final inning. He secured his 2nd save of the season. The Dodgers, they win 5-2. Boston versus Detroit. A little fun fact from Fuzzy. Did you know that Jake Rogers of the Tigers has a career 1,000 OPS versus lefties after that 2-run bomb? So he straight up destroys lefties. If I'm a GM of a playoff team, I have my sights on Jake Rogers for sure, especially if we're talking about a platoon going into a playoff series. Chris Sale, he was striking guys out left and right, but he got into a good amount of trouble, and Boston's offense, they were stifled by Spencer Turnbull until Two Scoops Rafi, they call him Two Scoops Rafi because he hit so many doubles, but there he is with a home run, and then later on, he ties the game on a 2-run double. So there he is, Two Scoops Rafi, or is it Big Scoops Rocky? I don't know what his nickname is. He is #1 in extra base hits in all of Major League Baseball since the beginning of 2019, and speaking of leading MLB, Adam Duvall is now #1 with 12 RBIs after that clutch 3-run home run. He wins it for Boston. He is hitting .360 with 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. Masataka Yoshida has been very productive. Kenley Jansen, he grabbed his first save of the season. Losing Xander Bogaerts does suck, but all the new guys, they are contributing. The Giants scored 16. The White Sox scored, it doesn't matter. Michael Conforto is so back, well, kind of. That's a 3-run blast off of Lance Lynn. He is still striking out nearly 50% of the time, but that's going to happen after you miss a year. He is still trying to get comfortable and acclimated with Major League pitching. Barry Bonds Jr. got his first, and no, that's not Barry Bonds' son, but Blake Sabol of the Giants idolized Barry Bonds when he was a kid. He actually has a bat painted like Barry's old bats. I think it was Sandbat, the one with the bat on it. I miss those bats, by the way, but 435 feet is no joke, and from there, yeah, it got ugly. Mike Yastrzemski, he's on the board for the second time in this series. Wilmer Flores, he grabbed one, the 4th home run of the ball game for the Giants. You have JD Davis and Tyro Estrada teaming up to make it a 12 spot. And there it is, a 16 spot. JD Davis, have yourself a day. Boost those stats, because in 4 months, no one is going to remember that you hit a grand slam off of a positional player. So boost those stats, especially when you're going into a contract season. He has 10 home runs over his last 56 games. He has been a monster. Speaking of being a monster, Matt Chapman has been exactly that to begin 2023. He can mess around and hit 50 doubles. His 6 doubles and 13 hits lead all of Major League Baseball, not just the AL. So 6 doubles, 13 hits already. Bo Bichette is red hot to begin the season, and there is a sight for sore eyes. Kevin Biggio, he went yard. I kind of forgot that he existed, and at one point, to begin his career in his first 159 games, he had 24 home runs and a 370 on base percentage, so he can be very good when healthy and performing like Kevin Biggio. Vladdy Jr., he is tearing covers off of baseball. He now has more home runs than strikeouts. He has 5 walks, 1 strikeout, 2 home runs. Gosman, he was frying left and right. Another quality start from him. 6 shutout innings with 7 strikeouts. And if Bassett can get right later on today, that is a devastating 1-2-3 punch. Adam Simber had to come in and close it because Jordan Romano, he has been a save machine to begin the season, so he was not available, but he got the job done after a scary comeback from the Royals, but the Royals, they do take another L. It's not very often you see a box score from Coors Field where there was a combined 1 run between both teams. The 25-year-old Josiah Gray took a super tough L as his one mistake to Jurickson Profar ended up being the ball game. Hey guys, Fuzzy, the small brain creator here. I don't know where I got Jurickson Profar hitting a home run in this game. It was won by Chris Bryant on this RBI single. Al Freeland was impressive again. He has 2 starts in the season. 2 of them have been quality starts. He almost went 7 shutout with 5 strikeouts. He has not allowed a single earned run, only 7 hits allowed in his first 13 innings to begin the year. Pierce Johnson is coming up massive in replacement of Daniel Bard. He came over from the Padres in the offseason. He almost strikes out the side. He grabs his 2nd save of the year. So that's going to do it for the recaps of the games, because a lot of them were postponed. I think there was 4 or 5 postponements. But now let's talk about some surprises from week 1. These are just my opinions real quick. I'll probably come out with a bigger video, maybe a podcast style video talking about all of the biggest surprises. But the Rays and the Brewers, they look like the favorites in each league. The Rays are leading baseball in runs scored, and they are also 2nd in ERA as a pitching staff. Yeah, that's going to do it. They are the first team in 7 years to start a perfect 6-0 on the season. And the Brewers, they're getting it done in every aspect of baseball as well. Bullpen, starting pitching, hitting home runs, doubles, just driving in runs. The Rays and the Brewers after week 1 look like powerhouses and better than I thought that they were going to be. A few players that just completely shocked me. Obviously, Adam Duvall, 3 home runs, 12 RBIs in his first 6 games. And then Brian Anderson of Milwaukee, he is hitting 500 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. On the pitching side of things, Jesus Luzardo and Zach Greinke. Jesus Luzardo has 1 earned run and 15 strikeouts between his 2 first starts. He looks even better than he did to end last year. And Zach Greinke, he has a 2.38 ERA and 8 strikeouts, but he's 0-2. The reason why I'm talking about him is I'm surprised that he went back to the Royals, a bad team, because he's 27 wins from 250 for his career, and he's only 110 strikeouts from 3,000. I would have thought he wanted to end on a high note and be on a good team. The Twins are leading baseball, all of baseball, yes, even ahead of the Tampa Bay Rays, with a 1.9 ERA as a pitching staff in their first 6 games. I knew that they would be better, but Pablo Lopez, Kenta Maeda, they're looking fantastic, and Sonny Gray and Joe Ryan, that makes an almost elite starting rotation if you ask me. On the other hand, the Phillies have been god-awful, a 7 ERA in their first 6 starts. The bullpen has not been any better. And then in the same division, the Mets got torched as well if we're talking about their pitching. And then if we bring up their offense, they're outside of the top 20 in runs scored. Both the Phillies and the Mets have combined for a 4-9 record to begin 2023. Obviously, it's not going to finish that way, but if we're talking about some of the biggest disappointments from week 1, they have to be in that conversation. But that does it for today's recap. I appreciate if you watched it all the way until the end. If you did, again, shout out to you. Thank you all so much for your support, and I'll catch you tomorrow for another recap.